Okay.
But I know what all these are as part of the base. I'm just worried about who we had.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here. I'm calling the WeGo Public Transit Nashville MTA board meeting to order. We will pass on the approval of the minutes, and we will do that next month.
No.
And so now,
Obvious.
public comment. So, you all recall, we have 3 minutes for public comments. I'll put a finger up when you're at 1 minute. Mr. Thomas, you look very celebratory today.
All right. We want to break out in song, but we won't.
I always see tenor solo. Tenor long per solo, if you hear me. How y'all doing?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good. On the 20th of last month, the Western American 53 that leads to jail about 202. My driver's license not put my car in the handicapped area, but I left the seat up. I told her I could, and she continued doing it I could until she called supervisor, and after that she didn't say a word. Called 11-5, same driver, which since I've been out there for 5 years in that area, I've only had 2 drivers that have had issue with my putting my car in the handicapped area. The bus number 71 left Harding, but 214. She picked up an elderly man at Tanglewood Court in front of Whispering Oaks, and when she took off, he fell forward and hit his head down on that ledge where the machine box is. And she stopped so she got to Humber to Jonquil. When emergency vehicles had to take him on the bus because he had a nice swollen area on his head. When we got the lane clip, she told me I had to move my cart for a handicap when there were 4 customers on this side. She could have asked them to move easier. And we went to downtown. Supervisor came on the bus. I couldn't put my car in the handicapped area, which I would ballistic on him. Uncomfortable. On the 56, on the 11 of the 56 BRT, that was right down here about 2 o'clock or so. Had a friend of mine, she asked the driver to lower the bus so she could get off easier. The bus driver refused. When she got off the bus, she fell on her knee. And the driver didn't do anything after that either. But she will be, her husband will be sending email concerning that. And I haven't received any emails concerning the board meetings for the past 3 months, so I'm just wondering if there's something going on with that. And just for future references, between now and the week before Christmas, I'm accepting candy cane donations for the homeless Christmas trees.
Great.
Thank you very much. Mr. O'Connor.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
I'll say that before Merry Christmas, because we haven't got to that point yet. Anyway, okay, I got several points here I need to cover, so I'll try to get them as quick as I possibly can. Still having an issue with repeat offenders on the drivers not wearing seatbelts. I try to get pictures when I can with a description of the time, dates, bus route, bus numbers, etc. Send them into operations, but some drivers seem to be above that. Okay. I spoke to Earl Rhodes, I don't know why I'm saying Jones, Earl Rhodes. I feel optimistic after talking to him that again, some drivers still seem to be above that law. There was a rider maybe a couple months ago that I agree with, saying that the new buses, the seating is sideways, most of it, which takes up more room and is not enough seating. So if you get a really busy time of day, I really don't think these buses are going to accommodate, the number of people that would be riding at a particular time. Also, again, I still persist with bus service needs to be extended on all nights. They need to be running much later than they do. And customer service also needs to be extended so that it's open again from the time that the first bus leaves MCC to the time that the last bus gets run. Because so long as buses are running, there's still people out there that need assistance for whatever it might be. Still, some drivers continue with this creep stop when there's nobody. You got a red light or you got traffic in front of you at a stop, and drivers, I don't know where they're going, but creep stop. So, and it tends to make people get motion sickness. Also, again, still some of the overhead signs, they give the bus information here at MCC, still running without information. And last one, some of the riders that still play their music loud, even through their headphones, that can be heard all over the bus. Drivers say nothing. That's it for me.
Thank you. And happy Thanksgiving. Mr. Knight. Well, Mr. Knight.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Same issues that I keep saying every single month. Buses not being clean, buses still not being repaired. I have took it upon myself to speak to several different drivers on several different routes, and they're pissed off with y'all. They're pissed. Because the drivers are saying that they keep riding these buses up over and over and over again, and the same issue keeps arising. They're even asking passengers, well, why won't y'all call and tell them what's going on? And my response to them is, we're not only calling, we're going to the board meeting. So we're starting to look at it from both sides to say, well, if we're both exercising our duty and letting them know that these buses are not being cleaned or they're not being repaired and we're still being ignored, maybe we all need to sit back and have a conversation about us boycotting the system. And then that way, when money is lost, then people will actually realize it. So I've been in contact with the mayor's office back to back for the last several months, where they've had me speak to the council, where they've had me speak to all of these different people. I'm not going to sit there and keep wasting my time when we keep having the same discussions over and over again. And I feel at this point, the emails that I have in my email, some of y'all should be ashamed, because of the simple fact that that's proof and evidence that I could bring to someone in the mayor's office and say, well, here's the proof and evidence. This is what they said they were going to do in 2015, 2016. This is 2018. We're going into 2019. There should be no excuse for that. So if you have a maintenance director that comes in at late 2015, by 2017, these issues should have been corrected. And they're not corrected. So we're going into another year with the same issue. So I would just say to this board, the members that are here, y'all may want to be focused and paying attention, because I'm also speaking to council about having an oversight board over the board, because I feel like at this point, customers need to be involved and the drivers also need to be involved to basically say what needs to go on, what has been going on, so that all of these issues can be addressed. Because I feel like at this point, these people that are coming, and they've come way before I came. I've just been working on this since 2006, but I went to staff instead of coming to the board meetings. They've been coming here wasting their time. Please do not continue to waste their time going into 2019. Please respect their comments and do as they ask. Get your buses fixed. And the issue that y'all were talking about, repainting the buses, do not repaint every single bus in your fleet. Only repaint the buses that you're going to keep over a 7-year time frame, because then that's just wasting your money as well. And then when it comes down to like the signages and everything else with the branding, the smartest thing would have been, if you knew you wanted to rebrand and you knew these things were going to cost money, why would you rebrand if you knew you weren't going to be able to pay for it? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Knight. Happy Thanksgiving.
Same to you.
Mr. Bull.
Thank you, and starting off, happy Thanksgiving, y'all.
Same to you, Mr.
This next generation fare collection system, to me, it's a sea change, because the drivers can focus on driving the bus instead of negotiating nickels, pennies, and dimes. And just getting down the road. I think that's a really good move. I'm looking forward to that. The transfers outside of the main bus station, just from one bus stop from another to another line, are going much more smoothly than, say, 2 years ago. I literally would not take Route 25, for example, to get between Nolensville, Route 52 to 3 and 5, just because it was that irregular and you couldn't count on it. That has changed. I find 25 quite dependable, and other cross-town connectors, say 77 also, which 77 ran later and on Sundays, we've gone over that. Gets cold, by the way, when you're outside at those transfer spots. I'm sorry that it was not budgeted to have those small bus stations implemented. That's something that should be a priority. And speaking of cold, appreciate the 350 cold patches for homeless people. That's the most ever, as I understand it, and that's a really good move. Can always use more. It's this overflow shelter at Shelby Park, for example, which will be open tonight, rated for 75 beds. They've had 100 the 2 nights they've been open so far. I mean, business is booming, I guess. Yeah, okay. And speaking of Shelby Park, Route 4 runs right by it. When people get off that bus, they walk a block through residential, then another half block, and if it could run from, say, 19th to 20th and make a left, drop people off right in front of Shelby Park, then cut right back and hit the regular bus stop and keep on going out, that would really, I guess, planning, scheduling need to address that on cold weather nights like tonight, yeah. And the last thing, the sideways features on the new buses, I think it's a good move. You can get the wheelchairs in there much easier, much simpler. You can get the carts in there. Perhaps a few more of the overhead straps for people to hang on in case there is overflow, like they do in some cities I can recall. And that's it. Again, happy Turkey Day.
Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Thank you very much. Is there anyone else that has a public comment that I do not have a form for? Any further public comments? Hearing none, that will close public comments for our board meeting today. Mr. Searcy, do you have anything on the Operations and Finance Committee?
We join the call of the throngs and masses. Happy Thanksgiving.
On behalf of the Nights Committee, we had 3 different reports, and we kept Dan extremely busy today, and Jason as well, so it was good to have the update on where we are.
Fairly warm out, he left.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, that tide was just sort of, making it happen really quickly. And in his honor, of course, I wore my WeGo shirt, so we can talk more about branding. But good conversation about branding. Good to hear about the timeline that's going to go on with branding as we move forward. The mobility on demand, glad to hear that program is progressing, and I like the fact that we're going in looking at it to see what kind of changes we need to make, and that people really need it, and that it's making a difference, it appears, in many people's lives. So we keep it going and keep it funded for those who fund us. It will be a great opportunity for so many people in our city to have that kind of flexibility when they don't, so it's great. And the new generation fare collection, and the fact that the paramount theme, both in that and the mobility on demand, is about equity for our citizens in Nashville, was great. So as we keep talking about these different ways we think about fare, we keep in the forefront equity and people being able to have great access to transportation and affordable access to transportation, and that sort of is driving all of the decision making that too, we're a year and a half away from it, having a conversation so we can make good decisions along the way, was very helpful. I suppose we could probably take Dan's PowerPoint and include it as part of our report today so people can have a better understanding and have a historical analysis of how we got to where we ultimately got to. So, good job, everybody. And I think I don't know anything else to add to tonight's report. Mr. Cersei, that would conclude tonight's report. Chair's report. How exciting to know that the new access van is right below our window. And which was the coolest thing is I could see everybody sort of scurrying a little bit with a happy face the whole time. You know, it wasn't like, it was a very, you sure that wasn't the goal? Yeah, everybody was sort of scurrying around a little bit earlier because they had found out the news that it had arrived. And somebody I know was going like, you know, be the inaugural rider on it. Is that me, Mr. Cersei? So that is... Just the karaoke.
And the wet bar.
It's the club thing. But how exciting, you know, it's all about the progress that we're making. And again, as we think about Access Van, we think about it really serving population in our city that sometimes doesn't always get the attention that they deserve. So it's pretty exciting. The colors are flowing really nicely on it. I looked out the window, so congratulations to all of you all for being able to have this arrive. And what a great time for it to arrive right before Thanksgiving. So to all of you, happy Thanksgiving. And I'm always grateful that I get to spend this time with you all on this third Thursday. It sort of humbles me as a citizen of the city, so thank you all. And that concludes my report. Steve, what you got?
Thank you, Madam Chair, Mr. Cersei. It seems like we just met a couple weeks ago.
It does feel like it. It's good to be home though, right?
Like I wasn't very busy this month. But a couple of things to update you on. Kind of in the same vein of the new WeGo Access Van. With kudos to Trey and all the folks that have worked with him on this project here at Central. We are essentially in this phase complete. We've got our permits. They're still doing cleanup. But if you have time, Trey has graciously offered to give you a little tour of the new facilities, our new customer care area, the new restroom complex. We've obviously been using the building with bus transfers for quite a while, so it's definitely brighter. Looks good. Still at the next phase, which is the wayfinding and updates to digital signage and more brand identity. I might be seeing purple for a couple hours after I leave this room, but it's tastefully done, so I do appreciate that. A couple folks touched on that many of us were at the Tennessee Public Transportation Association meeting in Knoxville last week. What's noteworthy about TIPA's annual meeting is it's always when our statewide rodeo takes place. And the bad news is we didn't do quite as good as we did last year when we pretty much swept everything. And I'm not saying it was fixed. I'm saying a number of systems have said maybe we won't participate anymore if we don't get to win anything. So we didn't do quite as well this year. But in maintenance rodeo, we had 3 entrants. We had 2 placed. Kyle Krupp placed second in the cutaway band division. Troy Willis placed second in the bus division. So very proud of those guys for what they were able to accomplish. This year, for the first time, TIPA held what was called the Customer Service Challenge. So it was a series of quizzes and role-playing and situations that you might confront with passengers. And really pleased, and she couldn't have been more delighted. One of our access operators, Shunta Johnson, placed second statewide in the Customer Service Challenge. On the bus side, I should say, first of all, on the access side, Scott Wallace placed third in driving in our cutaway van division. In the 35-foot division, Mark Johnson placed first. And then in the 40, we do rule the 40-foot division. We had Jerome Horton place second, and Michael Featherstone placed first. And I saw all the runs. Michael's run was one that they should take. I think he might have tapped 1 cone the entire run. He was just in a groove. So it was kind of like watching, some major sporting event. You could tell that one was going to be tough to beat. So for all of our operators, maintenance personnel who participated, at least a couple other systems where it would take home a little hardware to keep them interested, but they did a terrific job.
That's awesome.
Heard Mr. Bull allude to it, that cold weather is setting in, so our partners work with Metro Social Services and activating the extreme weather cards, and working with them on the emergency shelter at Shelby Community Center is in full force. So that is in place as we speak. A couple days ago, several of us attended our quarterly project meeting with the Federal Transit Administration Region 4 staff in Atlanta. Biggest topic of conversation continues to be the Murfreesboro Pike project, because that includes a significant amount of funding that the Office of the Secretary controls, so they have specific interest in that. And that project's moving along actually very well. So again, kudos to our project management staff, as well as Public Works, the contractors, and really dare I say it, thank you NES for your work on this. So this could change any day. This is Transportation Conference here in Nashville. You all know that AFTA was here a little bit ago. And earlier this week, a number of us participated in the Association for Commuter Transportation. Their national meeting is here in Nashville. I participated in a panel. I know our group led a tour. That group is pretty much geared toward transportation management associations, carpool, van pool operators, employer-based transportation programs. A lot of universities participate. So that was a good thing. I always give you a quick update on the RTA items. Still working on our design with the City of Mount Juliet for the expansion of the parking lot at that location. Yesterday, the RTA board approved service changes to the Music City Star that will go into effect on December 31st. They include some nominal schedule changes that, more than anything, will let us kind of improve the reliability of the connections with the 93 Midtown bus. But the most noteworthy thing is come into compliance with the condition we have to defer positive train control with the Federal Railroad Administration. We will no longer be operating the Friday night train on the Music City Star, effective starting the Friday after December 31st. It's been election season, so we started doing orientation meetings with our new mayors. So far, we met with the new mayor in Rutherford County, who we already knew well from his role in the Senate. We were very active participants with him on his Senate role, so it is a little bit different. Now that his commute is 8 minutes to Murfreesboro as opposed to into Nashville, he doesn't seem as riled up about traffic as he was.
No, he doesn't. He's not promoting.
I hope we can keep that passion rekindled in him. And also the new mayor of Robertson County. The last thing on the RTA side, and Rita and myself and RTA's general counsel are sorting through, even though this isn't your problem, Margaret, for changing, are sorting through. We were just notified that the railroad operating companies are changing ownership. So they're going through that due diligence. I always like to close on a high spot. I think it's a really high spot, but I probably don't think it's as much of a high spot as Melissa does. Monica better be here. Monica? Yeah, Monica, stand up. Monica House, who has been Rita's assistant for about a year now, a little over a year, is now becoming my permanent assistant. So please don't tell her how bad a job that is, because I think she still has. We haven't filled her old job yet, so I feel comfortable when there's nowhere for me. But delighted to have Monica. There's still going to be a period until this last person I want to take off after Gail is Rita. So there will still be a
Smart. Smart.
There still will be a transition period, so you will still see Melissa around, but publicly, Melissa, thank you so much for everything you've done for me and for the group. And then the last thing I have to say, for about the 15th time, is I hope everyone has a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I feel remiss in that I need to go back and tell Julie and Trey, thank you for everything that you've done here. Your leadership has been exemplary. You just, make this look great. And so many people were able to still ride effectively and navigate our system effectively while this was sort of closed down to make the repair. So. Yeah. I really appreciate the fact that you all were able to do that so much for our customers. And I'm loving the purple walls and the rugs and the mere fact that that we're updated here for our customers and for our ridership to have a more comfortable, more well-lit place, and you all did it very seamlessly. I know it didn't feel like that to you all. And I know at times, you know, it was like over the top crazy, but you did a great job and didn't let the whole world know that it was. So appreciate so much all of your efforts and your leadership in this. So I'm sorry I didn't say that earlier. I think you walked out the room tray and you weren't my eyesight or something. That's why I'm going to blame it on that instead of my forgetfulness. So I don't want to own that forgetfulness just yet. So, but I do appreciate all you've done. And that's all I have. Anything else for the good of the order? Just ready to go ride on the...
Ready to go take my ride, my inaugural ride.
If you have a moment, you want to take a quick look around.
Let's do that.
So that concludes our meeting. We are adjourned. Thank you all. Happy Thanksgiving.